Yeah, actually, today topic is UA policies. Yeah, UA policies, nothing but UA policies are client side, which is used to manage forms and form fields to make the fields is mandatory, visibility, and read only. For examples, we can go to that form, whichever form. Uh, Here, finance management form is there. So, here there is read only by default from that farm design side, which is there is a mandatory field is there in that vendor. So we have mode that is the mandatory backend also we can make. So what is the use of UA policies for that? So for this, how can you make it is? So using a farm design, we are make it as a mandatory, right?
Yes, sir.
So when we can why because so by specified certain conditions we can make that particular requirements. Suppose here vendor is there. So when the vendor is open, so which is not empty. So I want to be a license used or vendor code or vendor country code. I need to make it as a mandatory. So this is the example when the vendor is user is true, then only I want to display my vendor color, right? So suppose here it
Okay.
is my vendor color is there. So when it is which is not empty at that time only I need to open, I need to show first name and last name fields. So which is not empty at that time only. So when we are going to that UA policies, so under system navigations, under system UA side, click on that UA policies, click on new. So here we are seeing a table. So whichever table side we need to make, whichever form we need to modify. So we need to add over here table, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, here make it as a active true only at the time whichever UA policies we are making it is that only should be active. So when the particular form based on that make it as active only that UA policies will work. So here it is there when to apply side in the short description is there. So in that UA policy side, so don't have name by using short description only we can find the name to identify UI policies. So suppose here order is there. So for that order, so whichever order number you can mention. So based on that order only you can increase for that particular order. Because of I need to suppose here some incident field is there. So I need to work on that particular state fields. So you need to particular operations on particular state field side only you need to make. So at that time you need to change for this particular order. So and so in that condition is there. So there are multiple UA policies in the same table side in the same fields. We can use for that order field executes. So when to apply for that certain condition are there. So for that here global is there. So applies to that all view side we can mention. And when we are going for that onload means when the farm loads and the runs at that time only we need to use for that applies for that is loaded and that changes values for that. So here reverse if false is there. So when the condition becomes false, so if make it as a true, then when the field is mandatory time only we can use for that. Inherit means so when we are extends for that, for example, task table is there. So there are a lot of child table is there. So when we are extending from that parent table to child tables, so we can enable for that inherit, right? So, for examples, when we are making for that, I need to in that on chain side we can will work on that. Then whatever unload like a client script side also it will become. So we will work on that later. So for examples, I need to add for that particular requirement. So requirement one is vendor. I'll open finance management. So I need to do the operation on that particular vendor field. So on license used and vendor code side, right? So I need to vendor is not empty, make license used and vendor code and vendor location to be mandatory. So what is the requirement for this? Vendor is not empty, make the license used and vendor code, vendor location to be a mandatory. So I need to go to that which table I need to add finance management. Finance management. So in that vendor short description is the key role of that UI policies. So based on that short description only, we need to find that UI policies. Vendor is not empty, make vendor fields mandatory. Order I'll keep as 100. Whichever field, vendor is not empty, right? Vendor is if vendor is empty na, no use na. So when we are using for that vendor is not empty at that time only. So I need to make fields this license used and vendor code and vendor locations to be a mandatory, right?
Yes.
Submit it. Where it is UI policies or otherwise here also you can go with that configure here through that. Yeah, here is there. Vendor is not empty. Here under UA policy actions is there. So in that UA policy action side, we need to do the operations. Click on new. Which field we need to do with the operations? Vendor code, vendor, where it is vendor code, mandatory true, right? Mandatory true. Again, I need to add. So before that, I need to check will work or not. See here, it's come now.
Yes.
Are you observed? Vendor code
Yes.
is mandatory. So again, I need to add vendor location as well as vendor location true. And again, I need to add another field, license used, right? Licenses used. Mandatory, make it as a true. Submit. So, how many UA policy actions done? 3 UA policy actions done. Where it is? Vendor code, vendor locations, license used. So, I make it as a mandatory fields for this when vendor is not empty. So, I need to go reload the form. Click on this. Yeah, see here. Licenses used, vendor code, vendor location. So, you need to see here. Without submitting this, we can't able to submit. So, we need to recom. So, again, we need to add over here 1, 2, 3. Location should be again save the form. Yeah. Again. So before that, did you observe anything in that UA policy side? Whenever open this, and again I need to do the different operations which on the finance management side. See here, requirement to I need to do requirement to vendor color is not empty. Show the first name and last name. So when the vendor color is not empty at that time only first name and last name will show. Otherwise, yeah. So that is the requirement 2. So when the vendor color is not empty means when that add this user, so this is the first name and last name will show. Otherwise, it will be hide. So that is the operation we need to do now. UI again. Otherwise, we need to go from here as well as our list view side also. We can go through the UI policies. New. So directly it will be taken from the farm side. So here table taken automatically, right?
Yes.
In that show first name and last name. When vendor when vendor color is not empty. Vendor color is not empty. So vendor color is not empty. So here, so here global is there. Global means all the farm views. So here incident farm is there. You can see here service portal view is there. So when we are go to that view section, wait. So when we are make it as a default view, the form will come like this. So this is the global advantage. Again, when we are CXS pop-up. See here. So how it will become? Form design will change based on the view when we are make it as a global enable, right?
Yes.
So that is that advantage in that. So in that when to apply side, vendor color. Vendor color is not empty, right?
Yes.
Vendor color is not
Not
empty. Yeah, you can go here. Under UA policy actions section is there. Go to the tab, click on new. Whichever fields, whichever operation are mandatory or visibility are read only. So these operations will make which field? First name and last name. First name visible, true. I'll make submit it and click on new. Field name, last name. I need to add last name visible, true. So this is our requirement two, right? So when that vendor color is not empty, show the first name and last name. We'll go to that particular finance management. So you can see is this working or not? Yeah, working. License use and vendor code and license vendor location. See here. Did you observe anything in this form? So previously we are seen first name and last name. Now we are not seen. Why? Because we are make a UA policy on this particular vendor color fields. Yeah, now click on this. You see here, first time and last time is came na?
Yes.
Yeah, this is the requirement 2.
Mm, mm,
Yeah, again, we need to do that at the form of loading. I want to make read only for that particular preferred communication channel and communication language fields. Or otherwise, so here active is there. So we need to do this operation. When the form is loaded, it will be read only. We need to do, right?
okay.
So requirement 3, active is read only at the time of form loading. So this is the requirement. See here, go to that UA policies. Configure UA policy. So click on new. So here is their UA policy. Change fields on a form based on that particular set condition. Here is that definition also. It's showing in that when the whichever operations do for that make active is true.
So,
Read only. Order. Okay. I don't want to any condition. Need to add. Submit it. Under UA policy actions, click on new. Which fields I need to do that particular operation? Active. Active. I need to make read only. Click on true. Submit it. So see here. Did you observe?
yes.
Active is read only. When the form is
Mm,
loaded,
mm,
active fields becomes read only. Right?
mm. Yes.
So again, I need to do operations on. So at that time of form loading, use company email for notification. Here is there. Yeah, no color detail provided is there. So when that, so whichever fields we need to do next operation, use company email for notifications. So need to make it as a mandatory and no color detail. provided side, right?
Yes.
So this is the mandatory fields. I need to add for this like a no color detail provided is read only. So like when we are click on that use company email notifications visible false. So here and state field is there. State field also I need to mention as a make it as a mandatory, right? This is the requirement for use company email for notifications read only and no color detail provided need to hide it
Right.
and state should be mandatory,
Fine.
right?
Yes.
So where is that UA policies? UA policies under system UI. Click on the UA policies. Click on new. Table finance management. Make the field mandatory. Read only. Visible at the time of loading the form. So I'll make it as order is 100. I don't want to add any conditions. Why? Because I don't want to work on that based on that particular field. So click on the submit. So based on the short description only, we need to find our UA policy. That is the choice only in the UA policies. So be careful while we are. So we need to find based on the short description only. Click on new. No color detail provided, right? Yeah, no color. So this field should be read only. I want to make it. Click on submit and I need to do another field that should be a use company email for notification. This should be visible. False. I want to hide this. So that's why I need to submit. If you want show, make it as a true, right? So we need to check. See here. There are no use company email for notification field is not there, right? Are you there?
Yes.
Yeah, and again, no
Um,
caller detail provided is
not there.
read only.
Read on.
Yeah, and again, which field I need to add? So I'll make it as a state field. State field should
Yes.
be a mandatory field.
Man.
State, make it as true. Click on submit. Yeah, see here. Otherwise, you can see clearly. Finance, managements. Click on new. Yeah, state is
Okay.
a mandatory, right?
Mhm. Okay.
No color detail provided is read only.
Mandatory.
Yeah,
Read on.
yeah. And there is no field use company email for notification. Make it as a visible false, right?
Oh,
Yeah. You can see is this four requirement is working or not. You can check here. Active
okay.
is make it as
Mhm.
read only. When the form is loaded, active
Mhm.
becomes
Read on.
read
Read on.
only. When the vendor is
Visible.
not empty,
Not
licenses
empty.
used, vendor code
Mhm.
and vendor
Mhm.
location should be
Mhm.
a mandatory.
Mhm.
Otherwise, if you remove and reload the form, check here, disappear, right?
Mhm.
This mandatory field disappear when the vendor is empty. When the vendor is
Okay.
not empty,
Mhm.
it will become a mandatory field. Again, you need to check vendor color. So when I click on that vendor color, show only first name and last name. If you remove, there are no first name and last name, right? Did you observe?
Okay. Yes. Yes. Yes.
Again, you can check when the vendor color is not empty, first name and last name is,
It will appear.
yeah, right.
Mhm.
First name and last name
Mhm.
will show, otherwise, we'll hide it,
No.
right?
Yeah.
So, what is the UA policies?
You find the form to change the
Yeah,
requirements.
user
Form
dynamically
fields.
in the UA policies are used to for the client side. So
Mhm.
dynamically control behavior of the form fields without
Form.
writing client
Right.
scripts, right?
Mhm.
So they make forms forms becomes a user friendly, right?
Good one.
User friendly.
Mhm.
So make the field mandatory.
Mhm.
Make the field read only. Make the field visible or invisible. Invisible, right?
Yes.
Yeah, here key component is there in under UA policy side. So here we can go through that farm side as well as we can go here from that under list view side also we'll go for that UA policies. Configure UA policies. Again you can
From
see, come again.
from navigations also we can go. From here also we can go.
Yeah, here
Here
also.
also.
So when
Mm.
we are going for that navigation side, we need to add
Mm.
over there table.
Mm.
So which table we
Mm.
need to add, which farm
Mm.
side we need to do
Mm.
operations. So we
Mm.
need to go through that under system
Mm.
UI policy is
Mm.
there, and we need to go through that list view as well as. So again, click on new. So here table. So short description is a very important in that UI policies. We can find based on the short description only. We can find condition. So which field side we need to applies for that particular operations. I explained already global how it is used for that views in that particular when make it as a global, right? So like a onload side in the UI policies. So when the form is loaded, suppose particularly immediately run when the form is load. So we need to enable true is, so when the form is loaded na that operation should work changes automatically. So that is the
Mm.
advantage of
Mm.
onload. Okay, only when runs on the user, whichever changes is the fields involved in that particular condition, na, at that time
Mm.
onload conditions work as a very faster. So when we are enable true inheritance, we can, if you want to extend from the parent table side, so we need to enable for this inherit. So specified table side, we need to inherit it for that particular operation side. We will go for that. So reverse if false. So in that reverse if false side condition, when that, then whatever UA policy actions becomes false.